Okay, so one of you asked through Math to get some help in this problem in my Math, and I did post in the post week one post one forum. I posted my work for, I don't know if it was 15 or 16, but it was one of those. So it's just like this. So make sure to go check that work. And if you don't want to hear video, or you want to have something reinforce a video with a different problem, okay? So basically what we're doing here is we've got this function and we want to find the average rate of change, and it's not on a fixed interval because it's plus h, right? So let's go take a look at what that means graphically. So here's the graph of 1 over x plus 4. So it's the you'll learn about this definitely in section 4. We talk about the transforming these toolkit functions. So what happens is the reciprocal function shifted left 4, and so I graphed as a vertical asymptote at -4, and the graph looks like this. And they're asking us to find the average rate of change on here. Let me get a blue. We want to find, basically what we're trying to do is trying to find the slope of the line that goes through those 2 points. And of course, the green point isn't fixed, as h can be anything. In fact, in calculus, one of the first things you're going to do is set up one of these different quotients so you can find a slope at a single point. And there's a process to it that I won't go into now, but this is some of the math you'll be doing there until you learn the shortcuts. Then you'll say why. But it's where it all comes from. So basically, what we'll do is we've got 2 points. Here's x sub 1, here's y sub 1, and what I did is I replaced, and you'll see this in the next slide. Here's the function I replaced x with 2, and I got 2 plus 4 is 6, so it's 1 over 6. And then for the second point, I didn't do this work yet. That's the x value, but we're going to take that x value and plug it in for x, substitute it in for x, and evaluate, simplify that function a little bit. And that's going to be my y2. So so you know where we're going, we're doing f of 2 plus h, whatever that is, minus f of 2, which is 1 over 6, all over 2 plus h. There's the x sub 2 minus the x sub 1, and of course that just leaves an h in the bottom. And then we clean things up, and that's where it gets a little challenging because of the rational expressions. So the first thing I do when I have to find an average rate of change, so I know I've got the bounds of 2 to 2 plus h. So I took my function and I plugged in that b number, that second value, into the function. You see it was 1 over x plus 4, and I replaced the x with 2 plus h, and then I combined like terms and ended up with that. And then I substituted in 2, and 2 plus 4 is 6, and of course I had that on the last page. So now we're going to take these values I just found, f of 2 plus h minus f of 2 over 2 plus h minus 2. So here's this, and of course that just becomes h. So we've got an answer. Now Math wants us to clean it up a little bit. I want you to clean it up a little bit. So the way you clean this up, because this is the fraction, these are two fractions, two rational expressions right here, we need to have common denominators. So, and I know the common denominator is going to be 6 times h plus 6. So I multiply this fraction by 6 over 6. So I have the 6 times h plus 6, and of course 6 times 1 is 6. And this fraction, the denominator is missing the h plus 6, so I multiply by h plus 6 over h plus 6. 1 times h plus 6 is h plus 6, and we've got the common denominator. I still get that negative sign in the middle, the subtraction sign, and I cleaned up the denominator. So now, because we have common denominators, we can push them together. And now, this is where people make a mistake, or tend to make a mistake. Remember how those original functions, or original fractions, were 1 over, or 6 over 6 times h plus 6 minus h plus 6 over 6 times h plus 6. So that negative comes along like a distributive property. We have to distribute that through. So that's why I wrote it this way. So I don't make that mistake, because I make that kind of mistake often. So this is an accommodation for me to help me figure this out. So distribute this negative through. I got that. The 6 minus 6 cancels out. So I'm just left with that negative h there over the common denominator. And I'm dividing this whole mess by h, and dividing by h is the same as multiplying by 1 over h. And then I notice that I can cross cancel those h's, reduce it, simplify it, right? Before I even multiply it. So 1, this is a 1. I'm very bad about writing that this is 1 now, but that's what's there, negative 1. So negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, and the h's is gone. This is just a 1 down here, right? So 1 times that is that. And that's the solution. That's as far as we can go until we know something about h. Okay, so that's that process. Hopefully it helps. Again, go look at my written work and the other one and try some more, get some more practice with this.